Assalamualaikum. My name is Rimshia Rafiq and I'm from BS Biotechnology Department. Today the topic of my presentation is why sky has blue color. One of the first questions a curious child often asks about the natural world is why is the sky blue? Yet despite how widespread this question is, there are many misconceptions and incorrect answers bandied about. Because it reflects the ocean, because oxygen is a blue colored gas, because sunlight has a blue tint, while the right answer is often thoroughly overlooked. In truth, the reason the sky is blue is because of the three simple factors put together. That sunlight is made out of light of many different wavelengths, the Earth's atmosphere is made out of molecules that scatter different wavelength light by different amounts, and the sensitivity of our eyes. Put these three together and a blue sky is inevitable. Here's how it all comes together. Why is the sky blue? A clear cloudless daytime sky is blue because molecules in the air scatter blue light from the sun more than they scatter red light. When we look towards the sun at sunset, we see red and orange colors because the blue light has been scattered out and away from the line of sight. The white light from the sun is a mixture of all colors of the rainbow. This was demonstrated by Isaac Newton, who used a prism to separate the different colors and so form a spectrum. The colors of light are distinguished by their different wavelengths. The visible part of the spectrum ranges from red light with a wavelength of about 720 nanometer to violet with a wavelength of about 380 nanometer, with orange, yellow, green, blue and indigo between. The different types of color receptors in the retina of the human eye respond most strongly to red, green and blue wavelengths, giving us our color vision. Tyndall effect. The first step towards correctly explaining the color of the sky was taken by John Tyndall in 1859. He discovered that when light passes through a clear fluid holding small particles in suspension, the shorter blue wavelengths are scattered more strongly than the red. This can be demonstrated by shining a beam of white light through a tank of water with a little milk or soap mixed in. From the side, the beam can be seen by the blue light it scatters, but the light seen directly from the end is reddened after it has passed through the tank. The scattered light can also be shown to be polarized using a filter of polarized light. Just as the sky appears a deeper blue through a polarized sunglasses. This is most correctly called the Tyndall effect, but it is more commonly known to physics as Rayleigh scattering, after Lord Rayleigh, who studied it in more detail a few years later. He showed that the amount of light scattered is inversely proportional to the force power of wavelength for sufficiently small particles or molecule. Tyndall and Rayleigh thought that the blue color of the sky must be due to small particles of dust and droplets of water vapor in the atmosphere. Even today, people sometimes incorrectly say that this is the case. Later science realized that if this were true, there would be more variation of sky color with humidity or haze condition that was actually observed. So they supposed correctly that the molecule of oxygen and nitrogen in the air are sufficient to account for the scattering. The case was finally settled by Einstein in 1911, who calculated the detailed formula for scattering of light from molecules, and this was found to be in agreement with the experiment. He was even able to use the calculation as further verification of Avogadro's number when compared with observation. The molecules are able to scatter light because the electromagnetic field of the light waves induce electric dipole in the molecules. Now the question arises here, why doesn't the sky appear violet? Indeed, there actually is a greater amount of violet light coming from the atmosphere than blue light, but there's also a mix of the other colors as well. Because of your eyes have three types of cone for detecting colors in them, along with the monochromatic rods, it's a signal from all four that need to get interpreted by your brain when it comes to assigning a color. Each type of cone plus the rods are sensitive to light of different wavelengths, but all of them get stimulated to some degree by the sky. Our eyes respond more strongly to blue, cyan, and green wavelengths of light than they do to violet. Even though there's more violet light, it isn't enough to overcome strong blue signal our brains deliver. It's that combination of three things together. The fact that sunlight is made up of light of many different wavelengths, that atmospheric particles are very small and scatter the shorter wavelength light much more efficiently than longer wavelength light, and that our eyes have the responses they do to various colors that makes the sky appear blue to humans. If we could see into the ultraviolet very efficiently, the sky would likely appear more violet and ultraviolet. If we only had two types of cones, like dogs, we could see the blue sky during the day, but not the reds, oranges, and yellows of sunset. But don't be fooled. When you look at the earth from space, it's blue too, but the atmosphere has nothing to do with it. Sets. When the air is clear, the sunset will appear yellow because the light from the sun has passed a long distance through air and some of the blue light has been scattered away. If the air is polluted with small particles, natural or otherwise, the sunset will be more red. Sunset over the sea may also be orange due to small salt particles in the air, which are effective Tyndall scatters. The sky around the sun is seen reddened as well as the light coming directly from the sun. This is because all light is scattered relatively well through small angles, but blue light is then more likely to be scattered twice or more over the greater distance, leaving the yellow, red, and orange colors. Blue haze and blue moon. Clouds and dust haze appear white because they consist of particles larger than the wavelength of light, which scatter all wavelengths equally. Scattering. But sometimes there might be other particles in the air that are much smaller. Some mountainous regions are famous for their blue haze. Aerosols of terpenes from vegetation react with ozone in the atmosphere to form small particles about 200 nanometers across, and these particles scatter the blue light. A forest fire or volcanic eruption may occasionally fill the atmosphere with fine particles of 500 to 800 nanometers across, being the right size to scatter red light. This gives the opposite to the usual Tyndall effect and may cause the moon to have a blue tinge since the red light has been scattered out. This is a very rare phenomenon, occurring literally once in a blue moon. Opalescence. The Tyndall effect is responsible for some other blue coloration in nature, such as blue eyes, the opalescence of some gemstones, and the color in blue jay's wing. The color can vary according to the size of the scattering particle. When a fluid is near its critical temperature and pressure, tiny density fluctuations are responsible for blue coloration known as critical opalescence. People also have copied these natural effects by making ornamental glasses impregnated with particles to give the glass a blue sheen. All blue color in nature is caused by scattering. Light under the sea is blue because water absorbs longer wavelength of light through distance over about 20 meters. When viewed from the beach, the sea is also blue because it reflects the sky, of course. Some birds and butterflies get their blue coloration by diffraction effects. We can learn an awful lot of information about the world by looking at its atmosphere. On Earth, for example, the optical properties of sunlight passing through our atmosphere tell us about its composition, reflectivity, density, and much more. If our atmosphere were significantly thinner and less dense, the sky would be less blue, stars would be less red, and the sky overall would be far less bright. When we look at Mars, we find that it has just 0.7% of Earth's atmosphere density, telling us that even with Mars' reduced gravity, the mass of its atmosphere is very thin and sparse compared to our world. So why then, when the Mars rovers and landers have taken pictures, does the Martian sky appear so bright? Images sent from the Viking Mars landers in 1977 and from Pathfinder in 1997 showed a red sky seen from the Martian surface. This was due to red iron-rich dust thrown up in the dust storms occurring from time to time on Mars. The color of the Martian sky will change according to weather conditions. It should be blue when there have been no recent storms, but it will be darker than the Earth's daytime sky because of the Mars' thinner atmosphere.